What's happening, folks? Back with another reaction, back with another tune from the We Save Us playlist. Thank you again to Kim, and once more to Michaela and Yvonne, who've added a few tunes. And this is another one by Icehouse, and I'm very happy about this. I reacted to the Primitive Man album. A shout out to Mr. Solo, who shared that with me a while back. But that was the only album he had available, and I really enjoyed their sound. It had an 80s synth pop sound, but in their own lane, in their own way, and I found that to be a very compelling album. But the deep dive stalled out because there was no other material. This comes from Man of Colors, 1987, and Kim's attached Tears for Fears quote. Let me make sure I'm quoting this verbatim. But yes, it is, all our love and all our pain, or all of our pain, will be but a tune, the sun and the moon, the wind and the rain, which is, of course, from Famous Last Words, 1989. And yes, she mentioned that this song, Sunrise, is about a blood-red sunrise that is so vivid and impactful that it has stained the walls, it has bled red into the very world. And in that regard, her note on this one, her context for this one, was that we are currently living in an age when there are military strongmen who have access to the weapons of mass destruction that can spell doom for tens of thousands or more people, entire nation states, maybe our global civilization, including someone here in the US. And when people like that have access to nuclear codes and means of destruction, we are all in danger of facing a blood-red sunrise. So yes, a very prescient tune, one that is still as appropriate more than 35 years later. So yes, let's give it a listen. This is Icehouse, the tune is Sunrise, and it's from Man of Colors, 1987. Make sure I get my math right.
children sleep. The old mountain remembers and hangs his head in clouds. There's a light in the eastern sky, yeah, sunrise. And there's no place where a man can hide the sunrise. When it buries the night, the brave new sunrise. With the sweep of the sword, the blood red sunrise. The blood red sunrise. Blood red
What an absolutely tremendous song. Look, I liked Primitive Man. Multiple songs on that album really caught my ear. That's probably better than anything I remember. Now, admittedly, I went through that album a while ago, like a couple years ago, and admittedly also, I haven't listened to it in the last, I don't know, 5-6 months. But again, just after that immediate experience, I feel like that's probably better than anything on Primitive Man. Sonically, vocally, lyrically, just an incredible track. I mean, sonically, it's big, it's dramatic, it's well composed. The keyboards, the like chimes, xylophone, I'm not sure, the guitar, the bass, just the way everything came together instrumentally, and then the vocals, epic, dramatic, speaking to the danger and significance of the subject matter very, very well. And I mean that like breakdown section in like the first part of the second half of the tune, I'm thinking of the desolation, which is reference, the shadows of people burned into the wall, the way everything within 13 seconds is laid to waste, the sword and the blood red sunrise. And what was it, the old mountain, these big geological formations that, span many, many, many human generations, sort of burying its head in the clouds because it can't bear to look at what humans have done to themselves. Now, again, this is a song from '87. I think it's very clear to interpret some of the lines, a light in the east and so on, within the context of the Cold War and mutually assured destruction, nuclear annihilation. But here in 2025, when powerful nation states are literally saying they're not going to abide by nuclear compacts and they're actually building up nuclear arsenals, and the threat of something like a civilization, a global civilization destroying exchange of weapons of mass destruction seems as possible and maybe even likely as it did maybe even during the worst parts of the Cold War when, the doomsday clock was 2 minutes to midnight and so on. So it feels as relevant as ever. Sonically, that's brilliant. As I said, in the moment, I feel like that's better than anything I remember hearing from them before. Now, admittedly, I had only heard Primitive Man one other album, but it feels like their sound has evolved by the time you get to this song and album. So yes, a really great tune. Loved it on every level. Thank you again to Kim. Let me know what you think, and I will see you for the next one. Peace.